Hi, this is Drew Tignanelli. This is our December update. Coming about a week or so early. We're taping it, Mikey.
Yep. So when we do the market update, if things have changed, it's been about 10 days since we recorded this video.
Yeah, because, there were lots of things going on during the
It was a
holiday,
holiday.
and I'm out of the office for a 50th high school reunion starting tomorrow, or starting today, actually.
And you and I have
So
a lot of cooking to do next week.
And we have a lot of cooking to do, so we taped this early. Anyway, Maddie wrote a great article, Steps for a Simple Yet Impactful Year-End Financial Cleanup, and gave a lot of good tips as to something you ought to do every year. At the end of the year, just go through these different. So I encourage you to read that article. And
Yeah.
then there's a video coming. What's that?
One of Maddie's great lines is streamline your life, save money, and make January feel far less overwhelming, which I love. So, yep, as you're right, we got a video coming out too. Alec made a great video. You're retiring wrong. The 401k mistake everyone makes. And if you want to know
Yeah.
what that mistake is, you got to watch the video.
That's Alec
Alec,
Sunners. A lot
Alec
of
Thomas.
people hear that and they think Alex, but it's Alec Sunners, and he just recently got married. So congratulations to Alec and Leah. And Maddie just got recently married too, right? So
Yep.
her and Brian. So anyway, we're getting people get married all over the place, you know? Anyway, we also have our new questions at moneyrichesandwealth.com. And we get a lot of questions that are sent to us, and the reason we do this is because there are a lot of people who get this pulse video that aren't clients of ours, and they might have a question, and this is a way of us just continuing to demonstrate what a professional financial advisor does. And we get them from people who listen to the radio show, but we also like to get them from anybody. You have a friend that just wants. You say here, write to the financial consulate, questions at Money, Riches, and Wealth. They'll answer your question. And so you got colleagues, friends, family, whoever, and they got a question, have them send it to us. Questions at moneyrichesandwealth.com. Anyway, the markets are continuing to do reasonably well, Mike.
Well,
No,
the what we try to do on here is address what people are most talking about, and a lot of people, are talking about the market's not doing well, and that's because markets are off their high from October. They're down about 4% from their high, but as you're saying, what a lot of times people miss is for the year, they're still quite strong.
yeah, for the years they're quite strong. Not to mention that today NVIDIA came out with earnings because everyone was wondering, is AI a bubble, artificial intelligence a bubble? And NVIDIA came out and said, well, we sold a ridiculous amount of chips, even far more than you ever thought we were going to sell. And the market's up a lot today. Who knows whether it'll stay up? I have no idea what'll happen tomorrow or next week, but you know, markets go up, markets go
Yeah.
down. That's what we've learned.
And another thing, as far as the AI stocks, is it a bubble? Is it not a bubble? There's, no way to tell in advance, really. But what we will say is that a lot of the companies that are kind of put into that AI category of companies, they're also just some of the, greatest companies of our current time. I mean, Google is producing so many more things. It's just hard to bet against them,
Well,
That's, I guess, all we really have to say about that.
well, and Berkshire Hathaway just bought a big stake in Google and still holds a relatively big stake in Apple, even though they've trimmed it back a lot. So anyway,
Absolutely. And
I'm
then the
not.
last thing on the markets is, we're always looking at what the federal interest rates will do. And, sentiments have cooled. Markets right now are predicting about 50-50 on whether or not we see another rate cut this year.
That's true, and you know. Whether they do or don't, the markets have already figured that one out, and they're beyond that right now. They're thinking about 2026 right now. That's where they're thinking. But our
Absolutely.
planning topic is health insurance because that's a time of the year right now where you need to be thinking about your health insurance. Not everybody, but most companies do it in their sign up is at the end of the year. The health exchanges are always the end of the year. Reviewing your drug coverage, if you're on Medicare, is the end of the year. So the end of the year is a big time for considering your health coverage.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons why this December we're making that our main planning topic is, talk on the news, talk around town, talk at the water cooler at work, is that healthcare costs are going to be significantly higher for 2026. And
Yep.
unfortunately, there is truth to that. The Affordable Care Act plans show an average increase of about 26% in premiums. Medicare Part B is set to rise about 10%. And while this information is still a little gray, employer plans are expected to rise around 9%. So it's going to be something to think about. Drew, a lot of the times people want to know, well, why is it going up so much? And there's a handful of contributors. One of the things is cancer care. Cancer care has made huge advancements, which is wonderful, but those advancements cost money and those procedures cost money. So that's hitting the healthcare companies pretty hard. And one of the other, top topics of 2025 is GLP-1 drugs that not only were immensely popular, but now have certain government mandates about how much the insurance companies can allow people to pay for them. So that's added a lot of costs.
Those are the weight loss drugs, just so
Weight
that if you
loss or
don't.
diabetes. If you have diabetes, it's a diabetes drug. If you're taking it for weight loss, it's a weight loss drug. And then chronic conditions have continued to grow where people are just not getting better and continuously getting treated. And then just like everywhere else, labor costs in healthcare have, rose dramatically.
Well, the baby boomers like myself are getting older, and I can assure you, as you get older,
Mhm.
your medical needs seem to rise all the time, you know? So, the largest population of the country are the baby boomers, and if they're sucking up a lot more health care, it's going to increase costs. Anyway, what can we do? So, first off, Medicare Part B may rise by 10%, but there is a provision in the law, Mike, that if Social Security only goes up by 2.6, Medicare Part B premiums cannot take away your increase in totality. So they can't for the lower level, the people who pay the standard Medicare, they will still get some form of increase, even if Medicare Part B is going higher.
Yep, absolutely. And then some of the other things you can do is check to see with Medicare if you're in a plan that is having a lot of people leave. Plan F, Drew, is that the one you're saying that a lot of people are exiting Plan F, so the pool's getting smaller?
Well, yeah, people are dying. And Plan F is only people who were turned 65 before 2018. So that pool is diminishing now. There are no new people entering Plan F. You need to get rid of that and get into Plan G. And you need to requote other companies every so often for your Medicare plan because costs change every year with different companies. And in Maryland, now a lot of our people listen who are in Maryland, they have a birthday rule, and you can on your birthday go and quote other companies, and you got 30 days to change your plan if you want to. A lot of states have that birthday rule. There's about 25 states in the country that have the birthday rule that you can go and change your plan for either 30 days before or 30 days after your birthday.
So the other thing you can do is recheck the formularies. One of the things that insurance companies are expected to do is they're forced to provide GLP-1 drugs at a lower cost. They're going to look at some of their other brand name drugs that they're currently covering and say, hey, we're not covering the brand name and go to the generic. So it's good to every year put your medications in, check those
But
formularies.
that's only, Mike, for Medicare Part D drug
Right,
plans. So it's only for people who are on Medicare and have a drug plan on Medicare, like I have well care.
right.
And so I would go and put my new drugs in every year and say, is WellCare still the best plan? That's what you're saying, and you're
Yep.
absolutely right.
So now we'll move on to Affordable Care Act and employer plans. And there's not as much here we can do. The one thing you can do, depending on what plan your existing is if you and your covered family members are healthy and you're already using healthcare very sparingly, you can consider, switching to a high deductible plan if you're not already in one. That'll cause you to have lower premiums, but you need to make sure that your financial situation is such that if you did have a year with unexpected high medical costs, you'd be able to cover that out of pocket, which could be up to $15,000.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing you can do is request generic drugs. I always do every time they want to prescribe me something new. And last and the least interesting and the what you least want to hear is try to control what you can through healthy lifestyle. So not as much we can do outside of Medicare plans.
Yeah, and try to go with the highest deductible that you can and get a health savings account, things like that. But you're right. It's a complicated issue, healthcare. But
Yep,
if you have questions, ask your advisor. They have plenty of other thoughts and ideas they can possibly do. So feel free to contact them. All right. I think we've wrapped it up, Mikey.
absolutely.
The
Happy
strategic
holidays, everyone.
saying God bless.